Please go, sir. We are live now.
Welcome to this webinar on managing customer engagement and loyalty through artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is being organized by SOCHM, National Council on Branding and Marketing. So on this is Avinash Sharma, I'm Director SOCHM, and I would like to invite Ms. Surbi Garg. She is a business engagement lead, consumer and commercial analytics from Dr. Reddy Laboratories Limited. So, Ms. Surbi, we are just giving you the presenter, right? And you can start the presentation. Over to you. You are you kindly unmute you. Kindly unmute yourself, Surbi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And the presentation is visible? Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to connect with you all. And this topic is very, I'm personally passionate about it, and I'm happy that I also get to do this. So we are going to talk about some of the stuff that has been happening in the industry, as well as what we have been doing here at Dr. Reddy's, and how customer engagement through data and AI/ML is constantly evolving, and you know, it's very exciting stuff that is coming our way. So to just to give a overview or the agenda for today, that first of all, we have to start with data. So without data, there is no AI/ML. So we are going to talk about briefly on what is the role of having a unified view of the data at a customer level. So which feeds into actually all of these models for the AI/ML. Then we will talk about two specific things. I know there is a lot that can be done through AI/ML to manage customer engagement, but I wanted to focus on the micro segmentation and hyper personalization of the customer journeys to drive engagement. That is something that we will talk about. And the third and the last thing that we also want to cover in this session is, and this is something that will, I am sure many of you would have heard in your organization as well, that, okay, now I have improved the engagement of my customer. I know that the customers are happy, satisfied, but okay, what is the value that is coming out of it, and how do we measure it, and can you really put a number on it? So that is something that we are going to also talk about towards the end of the session. So this session, just to make it a little more fun and interactive, we have kept a couple of polls in between, just to understand that what is your organization doing in terms of the different, you know, these three or four aspects, like the data or the technologies or AI/ML, so that we also get a lay of a land on how things are moving. So moving on then. So when I was just putting this together, and I was thinking that, you know, and this question like kind of comes up also, that, you know, is it you know, I being in part of the analytics team, I'm always pushing for getting more and more data, but obviously the marketing team thinks that, you know, it should be the customer first. So that is the question that we're going to start with: customer first or data first, and how the fulcrum is kind of shifting towards data first, because now the consumer is becoming consumer is actually interacting with the brand or with the company in several different platforms, and knowing that is becoming a very important thing. So I would actually start with how does a customer generate data? I'm pretty sure many of you might be aware of this and would have experienced this in your day-to-day life as well. So I'll start with a story or an example. So suppose you know, one fine day I just got a message on my phone saying that, your daughter's birthday is coming up, and do you these are the memories from the last year, and at the same time I'm also getting a text message from Hamleys that, okay, the birthday is around the corner, do you want to shop shop for our brand. So that was kind of a trigger for me to think about looking for birthday gift, or toys, or things like that, for my daughter. And then, so after that, yeah, so it was coming up and there was not a lot of time left, so I started researching on Google. And when I started to research on Google, I just had to put toy for, and then it just filled in the age of my daughter, as well as it started showing me the options for a girl, and also some of the things that I've similar things, or the similar things that I've actually bought in the past. So it started showing me links for those. So that is where, again a data, I'm actually creating a data when I'm going through each of this journey, that when I'm searching for what I want to buy, or what I'm looking for, that is giving a very valuable data to the search engines, to know that what to recommend. And they have this history of, they have the history of how I've been interacting with the platform, and they uses it to customize it to show me very specific things. Now, so the first or second link was the Amazon link, and it showed me exactly what kind of toy I generally buy. So I go to that link and try to look at the different options that it has been giving me. And lo and behold, at the same time, I'm getting a message from Hamleys, maybe, saying that, oh, there is a sale going on, and you can buy certain, um, it is for the next 2 days, and there are all of these toys on sales and everything. So I thought of taking the traditional route, and I thought of going to the store, so that I can look at the options more closely and not buy it online. And I went to the store, and in the store, I can see that the person who is interacting with me is already knowing what kind of, why I am here today, and what I might be looking for, and what kind of toys I bought in the past. And according to that, he is having the conversation with me, and I ended up buying the toy there. So in all of these journey, everywhere, to make that next event happen, for two things were happening. One was, I was creating the data as I was going from the searching to exploration to conversion, as well as the other thing that was happening was, I was getting more and more smarter recommendations from the different channels that were talking to me, because they had some history or some data on me. So that is how the customer data becomes so important to drive the customer, to improve the engagement and likelihood of conversion. So you may ask, Surbhi, what do you mean by customer data? Like, what do you classify as customer data? So just to simplify it a bit, I have just tried to put it into, you can think of it as attributes and events. So any attribute, a demographic attribute like your age, salary, gender, your social media attributes, social attributes like, what do you like, what are your interests, social circles, what social media are you active on. So those are all the attributes for a customer, which contributes to a lot of data for that particular, for me, for you, for everyone. And then the other thing that contributes to a lot of data about the customer is the event. So, what are they doing? So some of the demographic events, like we also discussed as an example, could be a birthday, or could be something, some milestone thing that's happening. But these are very small. There might not be hundreds of events that might be happening in your life. If that is so, then bravo. But there are a lot more events that are getting captured in our social channels, or when we are interacting with digital applications. So every search, every tweet, every review, every shopping interaction, even when you are scrolling the website, everything is getting captured, and everything is captured as an event that you looked at you started with this product and then you went to this product and then you put this product in the cart. So everything is getting captured, and this is what ultimately is used to create the customer experience, the personalized customer experience that we want through AI/ML. So long story short, it's all about, the data is a very key thing for, to run any of the AI/ML models. I wanted to do a poll, but I would do it after the slide. So whenever you are thinking about using customer data through AI, to use customer data to drive the engagement and experience, I would really, urge you to consider, have these 4 considerations about your data strategy. I feel it is very, very important, and as we are also, embarking this journey of doing more customer engagement analytics, we are also started to always think about how can we improve our customer data. And I truly believe that it is not a one-time process. It has to happen continuously. So there will always be newer channels, newer metrics, newer data points that you can add about your customer, and I would always recommend that we are always on a lookout of newer data points, newer events, ways to get more and more data for a customer. Second important thing, or the insights that come out when you are able to connect 2 or 3 channels together. For me as a customer, things are more seamless when I walk into a store, the person knows exactly what I have been looking for, or what I have been Googling for in my phone. I know it sounds very very scary, but that is where we are moving towards, that everything is talking to each other, and even the person who is talking into the customer agents that are talking to us are also understanding what the customer needs. And that is why the integrations becomes more and more important, that whatever this person is doing on digital is going to the physical channels or the traditional channels also. And that's why integrations play an important role, and they actually multiply your data, like I've called out. Third thing I would say, with respect to data strategy, is you should definitely subtract the amount of hops or hops a customer has to do to get to a certain outcome. So they shouldn't be logging in multiple times. It should be seamless to switch from one platform to another if you have multiple platforms. Like if there is a blogging platform in one place, but then you want them to go to Amazon to buy it, the hops should be easier, and you should be able to capture the data when people are hopping from your platform. So that is removing any kinds of any kind of hops is actually great for the customer, but it is actually also very great for the data scientist, because you have the one login. You can identify the customers on various platforms, and you can do a really good analytics, and you don't have to spend a lot of time in cleaning up the data. And finally, and we will talk more about it in our next section, you should have sufficient data, and you should capture a lot of data, so that the size of the sample size of doing any kind of experimentation to check if certain things are working, certain things are not working, certain messages are more powerful than other messages. For all of this, you need a considerable amount of data sample. So definitely do not always try to capture as much as you can, because you need a bigger sample to do any kind of AI/ML. It works best on big data. So this is all about data. So we'll just do a quick poll now, and let's do that. And it will be for 45 seconds. So it started. I hope you can see it on your screens. Okay, I see some responses coming in. Very interesting. Okay, so looks like most of you have voted for survey data, followed by the internal digital assets and CRM data. So I totally agree. I think those two data sources are kind of the go-to data sets when you are looking for when you want to start with customer data. But having said that, surveys to make surveys as reliable for doing. I don't think survey data is enough to do an AIML kind of model. It is more to do market research. But definitely your internal CRM data and internal digital assets data is proving to be a very good source of data to customize a lot of things, at least on our internal channels. So moving on, so now you understand that what data has where all the data is getting generated and how, and what are all the data is being captured. And so now what do you do with all of this data? So you know what a customer does, what a customer what you know about that customer, and also you know what they do, but how do you use it to your advantage? So the title is, when less is more and more less. So I'll kind of explain it to you in my next slide that how why I'm saying this with respect to the customer experience through AIML. So moving on. If you look at how customer needs are evolving, or how customer interactions are happening now, if you remember long back, and I'm sure many of you would have also experienced it in your previous life, that it's mostly there were specific stores that people used to visit, and the bhaiya or the people who are there, the salesperson will actually know who you are, what you want to buy, what you like, what kind of service they will also offer services that might not be delivered by their shop itself. And it was a very actually I feel that was a very highly personalized experience, because they might know everything about you, and there was no privacy norm or anything such like that, and they literally know about your life and your family and everything. So this is where you are going to the mom and pop stores, and the interactions are highly personalized and one-on-one, mostly one-on-one. And many of the times you would have noticed that you had a very high loyalty towards these stores, and you would always go to a certain store to buy the things that you needed. But definitely, although it was highly personalized, there was a factor of convenience, because you could not go to the store anytime you want, or you cannot order it online, and the returns, of course, are not possible, and so on and so forth. So that is where we have evolved into now the mall and the digital culture, where we have we are constantly bombarded with advertisements, and with the text messages, emails from Flipkart, Swiggy, Zomato, Myntra, everything. Like if I open, or anyone opens their SMS app, they will just see like lines and lines of text from these companies. So lot of the digital part is now, every day we have a new e-commerce stuff coming up, and there are a lot of these newer digital assets are being added. That is actually adding to a lot of our convenience as a customer, but it also entails very low loyalty. So it's not I can buy the same thing from Myntra or Tata Click or anything. So it is I'm not so loyal to one platform unless I'm getting a good deal. I'll just go with that platform. So the personalization is not that high in such cases. You will just be a person who is a women or a men, and then certain age group, and accordingly you will get some suggestions, but it will not be like, okay, what you like. A little bit, not not totally hyper personalization is what at least I feel. Uh, and similarly in the mall too, it is, it's catering to the masses. Everyone can come, and definitely there is no coherent experience when you go from a digital channel to a physical channel. Like, if you looked at something in, suppose you are looking at something, and when you visit the same store, then they will have no idea about what you have looked at on the app or something. So that is where we are right now, or we are there. The next hop, or where we are going, or we are almost there, is actually the hyper personalization, or what the hyper personalization of our interactions. So with all the data that is getting collected now, the text messages, or the interactions, or even the chatbots that are interacting with us on different apps, they are becoming more and more personalized. They no longer talk just with uh, sorry so they are no longer just talking about very very specific questions. They actually can have now conversations with you, and you can it almost feels like there is a person there. So we are going to that, and what it will entail, or what kind of experience it should bring, is, we should have higher loyalty to a certain platform that we like, because it knows a lot about you. There definitely will be high convenience because it will be more digital, and hopefully there will be less digital clutter and more better customer experience, even between channels, even when we are switching between physical to digital, and so on and so forth. So now, coming to why I was saying less is more, and more is less, because I feel the customer experience is getting redefined. Like, since the digital fatigue is setting in so much, the when it comes to the number of touch points, the number of SMSs you want to send, or number of emails you want to send, or when you want to distribute the generic content that you have created, not thinking about any of the micro segments in mind, uh, less is more. We shouldn't be thinking of putting more and more platforms for the same customer to visit, rather than it's consolidation, and they can get a seamless experience. So it is more quality interaction in place of number of frequency of touch point, better customer journeys than many platforms, better segments and personalized content than distribution to the masses, which we call spray and pray. And what we have to fight for is the customer attention and time, because that is definitely is getting uh, because there are so many players now, so the attention is going everywhere. And we have to definitely increase the customer value through all of these things. That is the ultimate goal. So, so having said all of these things, so why we are talking about all of this hyper personalization and segmentation, and how AI ML can help. Let me just talk about what we do, or what the companies are doing to really drive the customer down the funnel, from awareness, which is just having that trigger to understand that, okay, I need to buy something, to really buying it, and then also being loyal to a certain brand or a company. So, now, in the first stage, when we want to look at, when we want to look at conversion, which is, we want to get newer customers to start thinking about our brand, or our solutions. That time, the techniques that are mostly used to reach out, or to reach out to the right type of new customers, is called something called as customer propensity model. So it is kind of a probabilistic model. It will look at your your current set of customers, and try to derive what is the probability of a customer being a prospect for you. So, if there is a certain kind of people tend to buy your product, then it will try to look at those kinds of product, and those kinds of people, and then say that these customers looks to be the most suitable, or have the highest probability to buy your product. So that way you can actually keep more focus on these customers, rather than just reaching out to everyone. Similarly, once you have the customers added in your funnel, or they have started looking at your website or your brand, then what is important is to keep them engaged and and make them convert. So convert meaning they should buy something from your website or from the brand that they are looking at. So how does that happen is the customer undergoes different the customer, like we also talked about in the first slide, there is a journey that happens with the customer. So to keep them, it's not that it very rarely happens when you have something urgently to buy, you just look at it and buy it. But generally there will be a consideration phase when you are researching, when you are looking at different websites to see what are all the different things that are available for me to buy. So here improving the consideration of your brand or your products become important. And one of the AIML techniques that is used quite often in this is microsegmentation. So treating different similar types of customer preferences as smaller groups of customers, and then accordingly giving them the promotions that will be more that will yield to a better outcome for those customers. So if there are customers who always buys always buys on a bargain, then you might want to do a coupon kind of a promotion with them. But then if there are customers that are not bargain hunters but quality hunters, then you need to do you need to have the advertisements that are talking about the quality. You need to emphasize that. So that is how the microsegmentation and the recommendation engines work to give this kind of personalization, and which also comes to our next part, which is the hyper personalization. So here through decision tree models, or through also we can use recommendation engines here. So here we can know that what is which customers has the best chance of engagement with what content and what channel. So if there are like it might be that for a customer A, like we just talked about, that one can be a bargain hunter, but he always likes to talk on have the interactions on the app. There can be another person who kind of likes to go to the store. So there is this kind of customization or personalization that can happen based on your previous data to see that what is that person really likes to engage on. And finally, once you have converted this customer, they have bought what you were selling them. You need to constantly track the customer satisfaction scores, the net promoter scores, to drive the loyalty. So loyalty or the customer satisfaction, and that is very important. To have very loyal customers and cross-sell, upsell, and things like that. So for that, I think it's very, very important for the customers to be loyal to your brand. They should get the experience that they expect. And some of the things through chatbot, or how simple is your interface to solve the issues, some of these things are important that we know from the past. But how do you make that chatbot really, really natural, and it can understand the language that they are speaking, rather than you have to put a very, very specific phrase to understand. So that all can be done through AIML techniques like NLP, and so on and so forth. Similarly, when you know that if there is a churn happening, by looking at the data and the activities of the customer, you can also know that which customer is likely to be disengaged and hence likely going to churn. So you can do a very specific incentive for that customer, so that the churn is stopped. So like that certain person has not been interacting in your website for some time, they have not opened your email or visited your stores, then you can actually get them, and you know that okay, they like certain kind of incentive, so you can match that and bring them back. So this is how some of the techniques, AIML techniques that have been used during within the to drive the customer through the customer funnel or through the buying funnel. I am actually going to talk about an example just so that some of these concepts become a little more clearer. So we'll take this example of a customer called Mr. X. And so this is all we know about customer X. So these are the data points that we have. He has been researching on the web about best phone models to buy. In 2021, his social media profile shows that he had many nature pictures clicked. He had bought the phone online, and he has also put a review of that phone. And although he liked the phone, he has given 1 star less for the battery life. His past purchase history also suggests, and again this is from the e-commerce website, that he has a mix of phones from 2 different premium brands, phones and accessories. And he mostly shops with a Bank X, or in that case, a specific bank card, mostly when there is an offer running on that card. So this is all we know about this customer. And now we are a company that is launching a new phone, and we fall into a premium category like he likes. So what is the first thing that we are going to do? So first thing that we are going to do is we will look at all of the data of the potential customers or the customers that we want to reach, and we will look at all of these factors, that what is the past history, does he like our brand, what is his demographic, what is the the salary, all of those things, to give a probabilistic score for each of the customers, to say that which are the customers that are high propensity. And through that, we came to know that yes, definitely, since based on the data points that we have for Mr. X, definitely he is a high propensity customer for us. So now we have brought him. So we know that this is the customer that we want to engage in, because he is a high propensity customer and a prospective buyer, because he's also searching for phones, and he has our model and things, so on and so forth. So all of that, understanding what are the features, giving the propensity score, all of that can happen through AIML based on the customer behavior and the data. So moving on, now once we know that these are the prospective customers, obviously there will not be just one Mr. X. There might be many of such customers like that, and there will be all of these customers that are high prospects for us. Within them also there will be different, they will have different asks, like we were talking about. So someone could be a premium brand advocate, or someone could be a more camera and battery focused segment, or someone could be just needs to have a certain needs to have the newer technology. So even in all the prospect customers, you can further micro segment to say that what does that customer like, and what is he looking for. And based on that, then you can also run some affinity models, or which are also recommendation engines, to say that what kind of advertisements I need to show to this customer. So in this case, Mr. X, I will not be showing him any of the advertisements for which just talks about generally how good the phone is, but I will actually show him the advertisement that is focusing on the camera and battery power, because from the data that I know that this customer is more into taking pictures, as well as more into battery is important for him. So that is how it works. I know, because we are taking one customer, it might seem that this is very, very intuitive, and why do we need AIML for that? But imagine this you have to do with thousands of customers and thousands of events and data points, actually millions. then only a machine is able to do it very well and tell you that who has affinity to what, and what you should do as a next step to keep on engaging the customer. And that is where the strength of AI/ML comes in. So next thing is you do a next best action hyper personalization. So basically now you know that this guy looked at your ad, or he clicked on your ad. That does you now understand how do I keep him engaged so that he goes to my website, or he goes to an e-commerce site and buys my phone. So based on what this user likes to do, as well as some of the similar users are doing, I might recommend them a video stream that is that recommends a review for this phone. Or I can also look at that this guy also reads these articles, or also looks at these kinds of stuff. So I can give him something like that to keep the actions going, or keep the engagement going. So that is how the next best action and hyper personalization happen in customer journey through the AI/ML. And the next actions could also be, we can also use some of the classification algorithm, because we know that Mr. X always buys stuff, or makes bigger spends when there is some offer going on his card. So even through that, we can send him a notification on the phone saying that there is a sale going on, or there's an offer, or something like that. So that is how you keep on driving the customer to closer and closer to the conversion. And finally, once they buy the phone, again, very important, it doesn't stop end at making the conversion. Customer satisfaction and customer engagement is much more important to maintain the loyalty of the customer, and that is why how the experience of that customer is after buying your product is also important. And some of the things that can help maintain that is, if how good it would be. And I know some of it has actually happened that when there is a new phone that you buy from a certain brand, they actually call you to say that, okay, we can do a session with you to make you understand how the phone works, what are the new features, or what, with this phone we are also going to give you a free session with a photographer, because you like to do photography. Why don't you also take this course? And that just drives the customer loyalty, and he feels good about the brand, and in general the experience increases. And how good it would be if the person who is calling us and telling us that, okay, let me walk you through how to use the phones, and how to use this phone, and what are the key components and key features of this phone, is a chatbot, but sounds, or who can communicate very much like a person, and that can only happen through natural language processing, and which is an AI/ML technique. So that is how AI/ML can drive the customer engagement through at various stages of the customer journey, and through very different types of models, and through different types of ML models, we are able to achieve this. So at this point, I would like to take a quick poll again. Hopefully, I would really like to see some of the so the question is, how do you believe customer experience needs will evolve? So please vote. I think it is up now. So the answer is, or the most vote was to fewer but more meaningful interaction, and actually even more hybrid got the similar number of votes. So I agree. I think both of them is where where the journey is evolving. Let's do one more poll, because I think this will because we talked about data, metrics, AI, ML so much. Let us see that. I would really like to know what are some of the metrics that your organization uses to understand customer satisfaction. And this is a multiple selection, so you can, if there are more than one metric, you can click both options. Okay, thank you everyone. I think the highest votes are for the NPS and the churn rate. Yeah, so makes sense. So now going back to our last section, and probably I'll try to complete it a little quickly so that if there are any questions to answer towards the end. Uh, so so now, so I think the question that we were also talking about in the beginning was, you know, how can we, so now we have the engagement, but how do we drive the loyalty? How is it converting into value or not, and how do you measure it? I think that is becoming more and more important, because experience is such a you know, even though we have newer metrics that are coming in, or we are trying to measure the experience or the engagement, there is still it's a very qualitative metric, and it might not be as straightforward as you know, ROI or something. So that's why how do you measure it? These are some of the three techniques that are there out there. We also try to use some of these for measuring the impact of engagement, the customer engagement to the value or the sales that is coming out from the highly engaged customer, or the customer that is having a good experience with us. So the most simple one, or you know, anyone can do it, is the objective. It doesn't require any AI/ML. You can it just requires simple statistics. You can still use some clustering if you want to, but this is a very objective based measurement. So basically, you know, you will design some experiment, and you will give a certain kind of promotion to a set of customers, and then you will not give that promotion to a set of customer, but you, through AI/ML, you will try to find the groups which are very similar. So, you know, through clustering, you will try to find the groups are very similar in all the other aspects. So, you know, everything is the same, you know, they are very similar, but the only differentiation is one is getting this promotion, the other one is not getting the promotion, and then you measure the lift. So, and it can be a very objective KPI that you are measuring. So, you know, you can measure that how many how many got converted, how many stopped churning, or how many had an increase in the sales value or customer value. But I think what is important here is you need to have that detail of a customer level sales data to get to this. Second one is correlation based. I think this is very widely used in all the industries, specifically retail. So this is basically establishing. It might not be at a customer level. It could be at a customer segment level, or at a higher level. Is to establish a correlation between your input variables, which is all the different things that you are doing, all the spends that you are making in promotions, in digital, in physical, in TV, everything. And then you correlate that with your outcome variable, which is the sales that is happening in the nation, and try to see that what is driving the sales more or less. But this is relatively simple, but it also needs, it can only be done at a higher level if you don't, and it requires a good amount of trend data, and it will not give you the attribution so clearly that, okay, for a customer level, that for this customer to move from A to B to C, this much effort is required at this interaction versus that interaction. So that is the problem with correlation-based algorithms, but very, very widely used and accepted, and I mean, one of my favorite algorithms. So where we are evolving towards is attribution-based now. So attribution-based is nothing but it gives it happens at a customer level, and it gives a value to each of the interactions that are happening in the customer journey, and then tries to say that what work more and what work less, and what is the value that each of the interaction drove. So this is a very this model keeps on continuously evolving. You cannot like just do it for one customer one time, one set of customer one time, and then just keep on using the results. It has to be done on a more frequent basis, and you need to have wealth of the customer interaction data to come up with this. But this is a very, very good way to do the next best actions and to really drive the outcomes that you want to expect. So it will give you very clear direction on how do you want to drive the value, and how where you need to put more efforts on in the customer journey, and this can go as granular as a customer level. So these are the three models. I have just tried to explain it a little bit in the next slide with some pictures, but I just talked about it. In the objective-based model, it is more about finding the similar customers between the test and the control, and then measuring the KPIs on how did the what was different in the test panel. Do we see an incremental sales coming from it, or incremental conversion, because they had only one thing different, was the promotion. In the regression based, you try to align your sales promotions at one place, and try to identify what is driving what and by how much. So like, you can actually tell that, okay, TV contributed to this much of incremental sales, and digital contributed to this much of incremental sales. And then attribution modeling actually gives you at each level what is the attribution of the sales for each of the touch point that happened. So this is the attribution based measurement, what it does. So finally, I think to bring it all together and really drive the customer engagement through various channel, and through have it together in one place, I think what is important is these are the 4 or 5 things that all the organizations are now moving towards, is to having the customer centric mindset than product centric, continuous improvement, and agile ways of working, because now you cannot look at a customer metric only once a quarter, once a month, because you don't know what is going viral the next day or the next hour, and definitely even if you don't want to have a hyper personalized experience for the customer, you really don't want to have that, and that was in one of my slides as well, that you don't want to have customer satisfaction or dissatisfaction, because nowadays even one customer dissatisfaction can actually really spread wide very quickly. So that is why it's important. So don't give promotions that are not at all relevant to some customers. That will actually drive more dissatisfaction then, and it will not help if you do a spray and pray. Then I think now the third trend that we are seeing or emerging is now instead of brand managers, we have customer experience pods where teams like marketing, sales, agencies, tech, analytics, everyone is collaborating very closely to come up with ways to enhance customer experience through data, through innovation, through digital, all of that. and the last two things which are equally important is in all of this we talked about data a lot, but nothing is as important as what you are exposing the customer to. So focus on the quality of the content that is going to the customer, and embrace data and experiments, because until and unless you do experiments, it will be very difficult to say that what worked and what did not work. Don't spray and praise will not give you the insights into your customers. It's when you do very, very specific objective based experiments is when you will really understand what the customers are liking, and that is why there is so much emphasis on A/B testing, test and learn, and all of that now as we are going to more digital. So that is it from my side. So thank you, everyone. I will see if there are any questions now. I did have one more poll. Maybe we can do that quickly, and then I can take the questions that are there. So okay, let's do this one. This is interesting one. So I hope you can see the poll now. So there are almost 12% of the users who look at the either of the two. There are 5% of the users like people like that, and then there are 7% who only look when there is a customer complaint going viral. So but yeah, rest are all preferring weekly or a monthly. So that's great. So yeah, so that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Surbhi. May I request Mr. Thomas Varghese, Chairman of ASSOCHAM National Council on Branding and Marketing, to give his comments. Thereafter, we can move to the question and answers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't join at the introduction because of some technical faults. Good evening to everyone, and a sincere thanks to Surbhi Garg for an absolutely brilliant presentation on a subject which is of great importance to us today, about how to convert customer loyalty into lifetime customer wallet share, how to use AI and ML, and it's the first time I've seen such a empirical and a very scientific process laid down. I think it is absolutely brilliant, Surbhi. So thank you very much. We will actually look forward to your participating in the annual event, either as a panelist or as something, an area where digitization, big data analytics is going to be sought after. It's definitely on the cards. So please do keep yourself free. I think you have, through your experience and knowledge, looked at a frontier area as far as customer loyalty and conversion of this customer loyalty into sales and preference for a brand is very, very important. So I would like to say that, this was the 5th in our series of webinars. We started off with celebrities as human brands, marketing in a B2B environment. We did a great session with Shruti on journey of a brand. We had evolution of marketing practices through and post the pandemic by the Vodafone brilliant speaker. And today we've had a brilliant session from Surbhi Garg. So I think we are progressing our agenda on creating a thought leadership platform through our webinars. I think Avinash has got one more webinar planned in this month or maybe next month, and that is basically pricing in a digital world, which is what we are looking at. So I think, sorry. So this is something we are looking for, and we are looking to many more such sessions before this committee hands over its reins to the next committee. And I can only say that all the people who've joined the calls will definitely be benefited in terms of their knowledge, in terms of understanding what's happening in the cutting edge area of marketing, big data analytics, use of digitization technology, and last but not the least, use of the latest cutting edge technology in terms of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and these are things which are going to be increasingly used by marketeers in the coming years. So I think a very good exposure to marketing professionals. I'd like to again thank Surbhi for an absolutely brilliant presentation. I'm sure the presentation copy has been shared with ASSOCHEM, so please do circulate it, Avinash, to all the members. So thank you all very much again. I think it's been a privilege to be part of this whole journey of ASSOCHEM, and I wish that both the future webinars and the annual event that we will be planning will also be of not just the same quality, but even higher quality, because it will bring in the best exponents in various areas of marketing together under one roof. So thank you again, Surbhi, and thank you, ASSOCHEM, for organizing this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable
Thank
comments. Surbhi, there's a question from the from Ms. Ashika. Like, how do we manage data privacy and compliance restriction to enable seamless customer experience? Would you like to respond to it?
So now if you see many of your websites actually have the cookie, the pop-up that is coming up, and this is for the same reason of the privacy. So a lot of the places you can only do certain things at an anonymized data level, but still you can do a lot of things at the segment level, and then then do the marketing accordingly. So yes, definitely privacy laws are going to be a hindrance, but I do believe that there is still a lot more and more data that is there that we can use to keep on the journey of the analytics or AI through to drive the customer experience.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from the attendees? So I can't see any other question. Yeah, we will be sharing the presentation with all the attendees. Okay, so if there are no other questions, then we'll just wrap up this session. And on behalf of ASSOCHEM, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Ms. Surbhi Garg for sharing this very informative presentation with all of us. And I would also like to thank Shri Thomas Varghese, Chairman of the Council, for his leadership in organizing this program. And as he indicated, we shall be having our annual session very shortly, and we shall be sharing all the details of the same with all of you.
Thank you, Avinash, and thank you, Surbhi.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, participants. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.